I don't know of any other confederation in World Cup qualifying that is more exciting than South America. Um, and the closest. This has to be the closest in the Common Bowl standings that I've ever seen. And it's certainly the closest in recent Common Bowl World Cup qualifying history. I mean, you have just 4 points separating the second place and the seventh placed team. That's nuts, with 2 games remaining, 6 points available. So let's jump right into Common Bowl for last night's results. So we have Chile versus Bolivia. Bolivia won 1-0. That's bad for Chile. Coming into this international break, 0 points, 4 goals conceded, no goals scored. Chile is now in sixth place with only 2 more match days to go, one more international break. They look like they might not qualify for the World Cup. The 2 time South American champions, let me say this again, might not qualify for the World Cup. They are in very real danger. A 1-0 defeat in La Paz, Bolivia is not surprising, both because they were in poor form recently, but also because La Paz, Bolivia is a very hostile play venue to play in. One of the main reasons being at high altitude, and Bolivia just being a very plucky, hard to break down, stubborn side as well. So this is a big result for Bolivia, who didn't have to win this. They just play for pride. They were professionals about it, and they got a result anyway. And now Chile is now staring down into the abyss. Uh, who else played? Colombia versus Brazil. Well, Colombia got a very important, vital point from this match. Brazil was on a 9 game winning streak under new manager Tite, a 9 match winning streak that was broken yesterday. Uh, Williams' goal. Williams' goal was sexy. The way Neymar passed it back to him and the shot he took from just outside the box, goalkeeper Ospina could not get a hand to it. That was a fantastic goal. One of my favorite goals in all of World Cup qualifying from yesterday. And we had a lot of World Cup qualifying yesterday around the world. Colombia came back in the match with a Falcao header, leveled it 1-1. It's about the right result both teams deserved. Brazil already qualified. They didn't need to win this game. At times, it looked like they were going to. But Colombia should be happy with the point here because they played against a very informed Brazilian team that looks almost unstoppable nowadays. So Colombia, they're scraping their way into the World Cup. They got 2 points from 2 draws, but they should make it. And then we had Ecuador versus Peru. Oh my God, Peru making a late comeback in qualifying. How amazing in this could potentially qualify for the World Cup for the first time since 1982. Peru is now in fourth place in the CONMEBOL standings. That is incredible on 24 points, considering that they only registered 4 points from their first 6 games. 18 matches played in total in CONMEBOL, so 6 is the 1/3 mark. 4 points in 6 games. And now this dramatic turnaround by this motivated, inspired Peruvian side defeated Ecuador in Quito for the first time ever in a competitive fixture in World Cup qualifying. I think they've beaten Ecuador in friendlies in Quito, but this is the first time in a competitive match. And that is astonishing because I didn't think they could get the 3 points here. I didn't think they would get the 3 points. And most people didn't either, despite the fact that Ecuador are in such a horrible slump at the moment. But this is absolutely big for Peru. They could qualify for the World Cup for the first time in over 30 years. It would be awesome to see Peru back at the World Cup because they are such a good side when it comes to Copa Americas that I imagine it's very frustrating for them not returning to the World Cup. But we could be seeing history here, guys. Ecuador just it's really sad because they started off qualifying so strongly with 12 points from 4 games and 4 wins. That was the second best start to any South American qualifying campaign in the history of the current format of South American qualifying. And they had 1 foot in Russia with only 4 games played, and they let it go. Something just happened. I think Quinteros is mismanaging them, and they have now, I think they have 8 losses, 8 games they have lost. That is quite something. And now they are stuck on 20 points still. They've been at 20 points for a long time. They can't seem to get past that, finally get a result from somewhere. Um, so it is an unfortunate state of events, of affairs for the Ecuadorian team. But how about Peru, guys? Wow, what a potential story if Paulo Guerrero and Ricardo Gareca's men get to Russia. That would be awesome. And they would be a force to be reckoned with as well in Russia. Elsewhere, we had Argentina versus Venezuela. I was expecting Argentina to get the full 3 points here. Venezuela is already eliminated, but it's great to see teams like Venezuela and Bolivia still play professionally and seek out max results. So I'm glad that Venezuela and Bolivia both got results from this international break when they didn't really it didn't really matter in the end. Venezuela arguably could have stolen the road victory here. They went ahead. I believe they went ahead in the 52nd minute through Murillo, and then Argentina equalized just a few moments later. It seemed like it was an own goal. I'm not sure if it was awarded to Icardi or not, but there was a big scramble in the box, and it was a very scrappy goal scored by Argentina. Venezuela just could not hold them off. But they did hold off for the 1-1 draw. And that's pretty huge for Venezuela, and it causes a headache for Argentina because they're going to get just hammered in the press, as I'm sure they already were and will continue to be. Puts pressure on them to get a win at home next month against a really pumped up Peruvian team. So Argentina is not out of the woods just yet. They could potentially be in just as much danger as Chile is. I believe right now they're still in the playoff position where they would play against New Zealand. And oh my God, imagine the score line across those two legs. But, you know, Argentina leaving it late in their qualifying campaign, just as Chile is doing. So that's a great result for Venezuela, and I hope they end their qualifying campaign on a high note. And then lastly, we have Paraguay versus Uruguay. I thought this match was going to be a draw because there's just a familiarity between these two teams, and Paraguay coming off of a road win in Chile inspired. I thought they would at least get a draw here, if not win. But a couple of really bad defensive errors allowed Uruguay to take the lead in the 78th minute. And what a strike by the newcomer making his international debut for Uruguay, Valverde. Look up this youngster. He's a bright young talent, and he will be an asset for La Celeste for many years to come. I'm very impressed with his performance on the pitch. And you know me, I like Uruguay, South American. I sympathize with their style and their history and their rich culture of soccer. So it was a little bit of an unexpected result for me, but I'm happy that it ended that way. They won 2-1. But Paraguay were really, in my opinion, Paraguay were a little bit unlucky because both goals did sort of come from defensive errors. Although you have to give Luis Suarez credit for making it a run all the way from the halfway line in the build-up to Uruguay's second goal. So that's a great result for Uruguay because they're in second place now with 27 points, and they are poised to break the fifth-placed playoff curse. With their last 2 games against Venezuela and Bolivia, they could win. They could come in second in this group, finish in second, and that would be a huge change. It would be their best ever finish in South American World Cup qualifying history for them. So the standings in South America right now are Brazil with 37 points, Uruguay with 27, Colombia with 26, Peru with 24 in fourth, and Argentina with 24th, but with an lower number of goals scored. They're in the playoff right now. Chile's in sixth with 23, Paraguay with 21. You see how close this is still? Even Ecuador is still alive. Ecuador with 20, Bolivia with 13, and Venezuela with 8. So I'm looking forward to next month. Who's going to qualify? Who's going to finish where? It should be fantastic. I love South American World Cup qualifying. Love it, love it, love it. So leave a comment below, like, subscribe. Hey, what 5 teams do you think are going to qualify? Be as unbiased as possible. I'd like to hear what you have to say. Till then, I'll see you guys in my next video. Peace out. Much love and peace out.